last episode we created the environment. So what we are going to be doing in this video is making the car move, giving it a movement. At least let's see how our car will move, and then how we can use our keyboard to direct our car, and also how you can create a variable. Just see it as learning new C# or something. So we are going to be using variables, condition, if statement, and user input. That's what we are going to be using in this video. So let's dive into it. So we have this. We are going to start by creating, sorry, let me shift. Yeah, we are going to dive by creating our, I'm coming please. So let's firstly create a folder that will hold all our C# scripts for the project. So I'm going to right click and create. I'm going to say create folder. Then the folder, I'm going to name it scripts. So in this folder, let's open the folder and let's create a C# this thing. So empty C# scripts. So let's name it player movement. So let's say player movement. Okay, so let's double click by opening it up. So this is my Unity. Okay. So this is my Unity project, and let's, yeah, what we are seeing here is saying it's running from monobehavior. Monobehavior is a built-in class in Unity NG. All everything you have to do in your game engine, all scripts has to inherit from monobehavior, because there are some classes in monobehavior that you'll be using. So it has to be inherit from everything. All the stats you see here, it is inherit from monobehavior. All these updates, it is inside monobehavior. So they have already built it for you. So your own is just to know how to use it. And this stat is called, this stat method you're seeing here is called once your game is starts. So once you click on your game to start, then this starts, anything you script in here will show. And here it is called, as you can see, there's a comment that says update is called once per frame. It means that in this update runs every frame, that is, get called every time the scenes references, every time the scenes refresh, which is usually around 60 times per second. So in your this thing, it is always 60 times per second, but very depending on the computer. So it's depending on your computer. So each frame runs by 60 times per second, so it depends on your computer. If you have a slower computer, which means it will run slower. And then we use this update for all this kind of making your game objects to jump and other stuff. There's other functions like fixed updates, which is what we are going to use. And fixed object gets consistent interval regardless of the frame rate. Unity sets it to run every 0.02 seconds by default. So this the fixed update we are going to be used is set to run every 0.02 per second. So sorry, let me change this. Fixed. So, fixed. yeah, fixed objects. So now here we are going to make our objects move. Like we're going to make our game objects move. Are you ready? Yes. Okay, let's go. Firstly, we have to give our game objects like our car. We have to give our car some rigid body. So sorry, let me change the layer because it's very, you know. How is shit? This is mad. Please, I'm coming. Okay, yeah, this is better. So let me change this thing. I prefer this. So let me change this our game object, this vehicle. Yeah, this vehicle. Let's give it a rigid body. Although it has already has a mesh collider, which tracks the position of the a collider that is attached to the object. Maybe the object is a car, no matter the shape, so it tracks it. And for your game object to detect a collider, it has to have is either mesh collider or cube collider or any other colliders. Just make sure it has a collider if you want it to detect, if you don't want it to pass through other objects. So let's add a rigid body. So we are going to say physics. So let's click on physics. Then let's add a rigid body. This rigid body allows to assign mass. It also allows to assign drag, whether it should be drag. Then it also allows to assign center of mass, also use of gravity. So let's if you add this rigid body, if your body is at top, so let me say let me raise this up small just to know the function of the rigid body. Then let's hit play. So it falls down, which means, okay, let's say in physics, if you just throw something up, it has to come down. So it has a rigid body and it has a use gravity. Then if you this kinematic means it will not fall, it will just stay where it is. So if you want the kinematic is only used for static body. And then we have collision detect collision detection, which you can say continuous, then dynamic. So now let's add our components. So we have to add this script we created here. We've already created the script. Click on your game help. So drag the script that you've created, then paste it in the player inspector. Drag it and place it in the player inspector. So now let's click by opening our project. So let's go. So in this file, don't be overwhelmed with everything you see here. Everything is just saying that this is using Unity engine. Yeah, of course it's true, we are using Unity engine. And this is, we know that this is the name of our script. And what does this come from? So this means that it is inheriting, just like a child inherits from a father based on behavior or something, I don't know. So here we are going to say it inherits from the mono behavior. All games inherit from mono behavior because all the activities that will be performed are in the mono behavior. So all the classes like collider, like add force, like all, even these functions you are seeing here, they are mono behaviors class, they are mono behavior class. So let's leave it like that because it has to be. So now what does this start method mean, or start function mean? It means that start is called once by the before the person execution of updates after the mono behavior is created. Like when you click on your play this thing on your game, when you click on the play state on your game, so the first thing that applied to your game, the first whatever that is applied to your game is in the stats method. So here we are saying that we are, oh sorry, yeah, in your own you have updates. In yours you have updates. Update is saying that this update means that it runs like you see, update is called once per frame. So now, which means update runs once per frame, that is get called every time the screen refreshes. It gets called every time the screen refreshes, which is usually around 60 times per second, but can vary depending on the computer performance. If you have a lot of desktop on your computer, a lot of app, your computer will slow, so the number of frame I have here might be different, so it might be slower on your computer. This is fixed, and we use updates for, let me say you want to perform a jump character and all other things. So well, since we want to perform a physics character, like let me say we want to add a physics, like okay, we want this to have a rigid body to detect collision, and we have it to have to push, like just like you're adding force, you understand, the mass of the distance and the acceleration, just like you're having taking force to it. So we have to add force to our game because we want it to move. We just be like, oh, us pushing it. So we have to add force. Since we are adding force and it's this with physics, so we have to add fixed updates, which okay, sorry, fixed updates which allow us mess with our physics. It allows us mess with our physics. So it is always going um with physics performance. So now let's create, to make our objects move, the first thing we have to do, sorry, I have to clean this up because we don't need to call it anything. So in our stats, okay, sorry. Okay, so sorry, I undo this because let me see. Since we've already say it calls once per frame, okay, let's see what will happen when we debug.log the something in our console. So now let's say debug.log, okay, debug.log, debug.log, hello world. Hello world. So this is what we are going to be writing. Since if we click on play, then we want to see this. So let's see if it works. Let's command S. Okay, control S, sorry. Then go back to our game object. It will load. Then let's hit. Then here is our console. Okay, I made a mistake in my writing. Debug. Okay, let's correct it. It is debug. Okay. So this is where, let's go to our console. So last I made mention of, I've forgotten, I don't know whether I made mention of console. So here console shows everything, like just you are testing your program, you want to see whether it's rolling, that this with coding. So this is where you will debug it and it will show you, and if you have any error it will show in your console. So if you have any error, as you see the other time it pop-ups one red something, if I click here it will show it here. So that's console for you. It shows your error and allow you to mess with your project to see how it's working. So let's click on play and we'll see what it does. So let's get it started. So you see hello world, and it is called once and only have a message because I play it once. So once you click on it, it says hello world. Oh, hello world. Is typing error, sorry. Hello world. Anyhow, it works. So let's go back to our project. So here we have, so let's go back to our coding stuff. So firstly, what are we going to do? So we are done with this start method, and sorry, we are done with this start. We are done with this right now. So first we are going to create a public public. Then we are going to create rigid body. Now we have a type of rigid body, and then we are going to call it RB. So here we want to add false to our game object, like we want to add false to it. So let's go. We have rigid body, the name of our variable, dot add false. Okay, add for C. This is like something there with this EU. Okay, so we say RB dot add false. Then okay, sorry. So since we are dealing with three-dimensional project, so since we are dealing with 3D, it has to take three parameters, which is the one for X, the one for Y, and the one for Z. So which one do you want it to go? Do you want the car to go in Z direction? Do you want it to go in Y direction, which is up? Do you want it to jump, or do you want it to go X direction, which is left or right, or do you want it to move forward? So since we want it to move forward, so we are going to X first according to the alphabet. So we have 0. We don't want it to move on the X axis. We don't want it to move on the Y axis also. So but we want it to move on the this on the Z axis. So we have to add 200. Let's command S and see what happens. So let's click on our play, then let's see what happens. Okay, sorry, we did not apply the variable. Sorry. Go to our player, then add. You have to, we did not give it what should happen. So let's add the rigid body. We give it a type rigid body. So our game object must have a rigid body. So which allows to add the mass, is a physics component actually. So we have to add the physics, and this our rigid body. Since we say this our RB consists a type of rigid body, so we drag this our rigid body here, then we drag it here, then let's clear. You see what I'm talking about, the console, what I told you people. So issues there. So let's clear, and let's play the game again and see what happens. So now you see that our car move, like it actually move. Wow, like bravo. Our car, wow, our car moves for the first time. Like it's really interesting. So it moves now. Then let's go back to our game, and you see that it moves very fast. Oh god, my laptop is very fast, so it moves very fast. So we have to make it slow, then give it a time dot data time, so that it has to do with the time of the later time. So let's hit Control S and then skip playing. You see that it is more slower this time because it has to deal with the time. So you see, it just time the data time, then it did not even move. Okay, let me increase the number. Okay, so let me give it like, it did not move on my system, so let me give it like 2000, because as the time is low, let's make the speed high. So yes. Okay, we see that now it moves, so it's like our object is still at the top. Let's click F to focus on it. Okay, it's at the top, so let's trace it down. You can see that why it jumps. Okay, no worry, let me just give it off. This position on y-axis, let me give it 0. Then that, oh sorry, then that's balance for distance. So it's now standing on the floor. Wait, let's adjust our camera to see what is happening. So I'm moving my camera backward to see what is happening. So this thing means that this thing is still on top. So now, okay, we have it down now. So let's raise it up. Let's raise the camera, sorry, to see our front. Good job. So here we are. So now the second thing we are going to do is move our curve forward. We can direct it forward, and here we have, I want to move forward, so we can direct it forward, and here we have our cube. So what if we say, so we want to move it left, we want it to rotate to, so that to the opposite direction of the obstacles. So we are not going to, for it to rotate, we are not going to add force. If we are going to add force, which means it will still continue to push it forward, it will not move the direction we want it to move, the direction of the car. It will just keep adding force to the car in all directions, so in the Z direction of the global scope. So here we are going to insert a local. So now let's use a local one, which is, so we are going to add force in the direction of the car. Anywhere the direction of the car is, we are going to add force to it. So we are going to use transform dot position times, oh sorry, transform dot forward. Oh, so it is forward. We want it to add force to the forward, then times the force, which is speed, times speed. Then we are going to times it with times time, that's delta time, So let's command S this. So now this is where we are going to be adding force. Use the direction of where we are going to be at the first. It's just the same as saying you want to push it, but it's not going to go in the direction of the car. So you can try it. Yeah, you can try it by, okay, that, let me just say that's a work. Just try it on your own. Add your this thing, your inputs, the previous one that we erased from here, add it there. Then the one we want to add now. So we are going to say transform dot rotate dot rotate vector 3 dot up. We want to move it in the y axis, then we want it to fix at the y axis, then we want to be spinning it, then we have to add, let's say 20, okay, times time dot data time times the amount of speed 20, then let's say times. So what are we going to times? Which direction do you want it to be? So what this thing do you want is, so like on the key there's what we call get axis. So this get axis allow you to move the arrow key on your keyboard, which is the left and right. You know those four that do like cross, so the left and right, or you use A and D. So let's use that. Public float. Then we are going to say horizontal inputs. Horizontal inputs. Then we can't, so we are going to come inside our and said horizontal input, assign the value of the horizontal input that you want equals to input dot get axis in z and direction. No, this is not what I'm typing. Just get axis. So this gets axis, we get the axis of x direction. We get the x axis, so we have horizontal in the horizontal axis, which is the x axis. So we can move it left and right when it is fixed to one point, which is y. So now we get this, then we are going to times it with what we want, then horizontal inputs. Then here let's command s. So let's see what we have here. No error. Okay, let's see if it's working perfectly fine. So this, okay, wait, horizontal input is not set. Okay, I think is the age is capital. Yes, horizontal input. Then so let's see what we have. Okay, so here we have our car to move in the direction of where we are going to. Oops, I don't know how to drive. Oops, I don't know how to drive. Oh, I'm not even seeing my front. So wait, this is another challenge. Okay, so the first challenge I will give you guys is, please check out if we have these horizontal inputs, like add false, the one we had, like that we said is 0 0, then we add false on the z axis. So just leave it like that, then try it with this. So don't use this transform the forward, just try it with this and see what you get. Maybe you get the same result, I don't know, just try it. Then this horizontal input is good to challenge yourself though. This horizontal input, then don't define it down here, define it up, then let's see what you will get to. Then okay, that's all. And we notice that our camera is at the back of our car, which is not even moving at all. It's not moving at all, it's not even showing. So we have to make sure that our camera is following the car so that we can see where we are going. It's not that it will be at the front, no, we are going to see just like this, but it will be going following the movement. So let's see what we can do to that. Let's see what we can do to that. So let's go back. We are going to create a script for our camera. So let's create a script for our camera. Create behavior. Then we are going to say follow player. So this is going to follow player. So this is what we get in our script. So this follow player, let's click on okay. This is follow player, and we are going to assign it to our main camera because it's the one that wanted to follow player. So we drag and drop it, then we have it here. Now let's double click to open our follow player and see what we can do to it. Okay, here we have start, then we have updates, but we don't need this start. We don't want it to start we don't want it to start doing anything. So we are going to create a variable that will reference to the player. So we are going to say transform we are going to say player. We're going to call the variable player because we need the position of the player. Then here we are going to say transform dot position is equals to player dot position. So let's leave this and see what we are going to do. Then Ctrl S, let's save and let's see what is going to happen. Remember, we create a variable which is going to show there. So let's click on our main camera. So we see that the variable we created shows here. Then we are going to drag our player, since it is our player that we want to follow. So we are going to drag our player and drop it in the player variable input. Then we've already add the player. Then let's see what will happen. Let's click play. Yup, no error. We see that is is that our camera is at the bottom of the is at the bottom of the of the player. So we really do something that is bad. So now we need, actually this is what we want, but we have to move our player back small, then give it a y-axis height. So I'm not surprised. All we want is, we don't want it to be at the position of the player. So now we are going to create a vector 3 player. So public then we are going to say vector 3 equals to offset offset which is going to follow our player, which is equals to new offset. So offset, sorry. So in our player variable, that's when we are going to assign. We are just going to times it plus. We are going to plus it with the player with the offset position. So basically what we are doing here, since vector 3 takes 3 inputs, which is x, y, and z, so here the position also take 3 inputs, which has x, y, and z. So now we have the position of the transform, which is 3 inputs, and the position of the player will take 3 inputs. So now the position of the player, we are going to increase, like we are going to plus the offset inside the player. This offset here, we are going to apply three numbers, which will be the x, which will be the y, and which will be the z. So we are going to apply it up and see what we get. So let's save it. Then we are going to add it, and that's going to be our camera position. So let's go to our main camera. It's loading. So we have our, you see, we have almost the same x, y, and z since it is vector 3. So now we are going to add the position of the, what's the position of our player? Position of our player. So we are going to add, the position is at minus, that's why we see it at the bottom. So because it is 0.55, so we are going to add 1. So let's go, let's see what we have. Main camera. Then on the z-axis, we are going to, this is minus. So minus 20, and they are going to have plus 2. They are going to have 2. God. So let's see what we have. Because we want it to be at the top, we don't want it to be at the, let me add 5. So let's see, let's hit play. See, because we had minus 20 is now at the back of our player. This is really interesting. So let me try and change the number here. You see, as I change the forward, it's, so let's use this. Yes, let's use this because this is closer and we can see front. So let's start playing our game. Okay, it is following, it is actually following. So I don't know how to drive. It's like I need to start driving school because I need to get my driver license. Okay. Ouch. Okay. It is the cube because the cube is, you make it a cube, like you're supposed to remove it. But next in our video, we are going to see what we are going to do. So this is all for this episode. Then in our next episode, we are going to make collisions and make that game trigger. Like we are going to make sure that we had UI text so that it will say when we reach that point, it say level complete. So thank you guys. Thanks for your support and thanks for watching. See you guys in our next video. Thank you.